Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Rody John, and on today's show, it is all about 808 Saints and their new album, BeatruS. We have Ladi and Sessions on the show, which is the two members of 808 Saints, about, again, their new album, BeatruS II. It is on Spotify, streaming now. It is a banger album. We go into it track by track. We go into what went into making the album, the guest stars on it, the way they open and close it, and the layout that was specifically laid out the way it is, and also what the future holds for 808 Saints. So it's a good long interview, great information, so good to hear this. And because I mean, as you were about to hear, I've listened to that album so many times in the past few days that, I've lost count. So, but first, we are going to hear the song Coffee, which is the first actual song on the album. Later in the show, we will be listening to Pain. So these are the two favorite songs of each person. So this is Session's favorite song, and here is Coffee.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hop on a ride, step and you slide. Flip out on bullshit, turn your vibe. Only way to rise, fuck all that hater shit, I rather die. We on the vibe. Let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, do it to vibe. Hop on a ride, step when you slide. Skip on that bullshit, turn your vibe. Only way to rise, fuck all that hater shit, I rather die. We on the vibe. Let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, do it to vibe. Come here, the bloody things I just spent. Rolling through life and I'm absent. Been at the table, they count on me stable. I know that this life is it. Do what you gotta do, not even judging. You know that's alright to be scared. Know what the soul can take, live for a better. They don't even trip on the weather, man. Climate is everything, bet on the change. You gotta function, stay in your range, stay in your range. Know that we made it, they see that we changed, they feeling the rage. They just can't keep up the pace, yeah. We got these bills to pay, tell them step out of the way. Hop on a ride, step and you slide. Think about all bullshit, turning your vibe. Only way to rise, fuck all that hater shit, I rather die. We on the vibe. Let's do it to vibe, do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, do it to vibe. Hey, fresh off the buzzer, beating the best you can count by a meter. I know I be wrong, they think I'm just regal. Bet about a pound, his lyrics get lethal. Drop you 6 feet, then I hop in the Beamer. Gave you a pop, then I did for the season. Doing the most and the least at the same time. Drop the same line every damn time, then repeat it. Bet on the same flame and it's so strange. I ain't wake on a mattress for millies today, but it's okay, I just maintain. Know the time will be right when I get it. Take that, repeat it. Because I'm egos and spirit. Know that I'm bad and I'm bougie. Just like my partner, we making it rockin'. We climbing it top and we steppin', we hop on a ride. Step and you slide. Think about all bullshit, turning your vibe. Only way to rise, fuck all that hater shit, I rather die. We on the vibe. Let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, let's do it to vibe, do it to vibe.
I'm here with Ladi and Session talking about 808 Saints. Is it BeatruS?
BeatruS.
BeatruS. BeatruS II.
BeatruS,
yeah.
Okay, well, I wanted to hear it straight from your mouth so I didn't mess it up, and I did it. So, well, thank you guys so much for being here. I guess for those that don't know, who is and are 808 Saints?
808 Saints is a duo, first and foremost. It is Ladi, the rapper, and the musician, the instrumentalist, and Session,
the producer,
maker, marketer, extraordinaire, sometimes rapper even.
Salesman. No, I'm
Salesman.
playing.
Car sales.
Hell
no. Car salesman today.
You gotta sell those beats. Nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell themselves, but
Right.
Yeah.
They sell themselves.
They should anyway. But no, they do on this album. This album, like I've listened to this album at least 6 times now.
Cool.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
Appreciate
I was listening to this
that.
morning while I was working out. I was like, all right, this is gonna be good.
Nice. Nice.
So
Yes.
And I mean, honestly, nowadays, can you think of an album you've really listened to that many times that you weren't making yourself? Like, you're not listening to albums on repeat that much anymore.
Right.
True.
I mean, I guess we're getting deep on it, but yeah, like, there's not many albums that you're like, all right, yeah, I need to, that you already haven't heard probably 1,000 times in the past, but anything new. Like, how many times do you listen to the new Taylor Swift album? Like, everybody listened to it, but how many times do you listen to it on repeat?
Yeah, I still gotta check it out. I haven't.
I feel like, and then they get long.
Yeah.
They're getting longer these days. Like, Kanye dropped Donda, and I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be straight up. I barely made it through that album one time. And honestly, like, I'll straight up say I didn't really feel it. But even now, Drake drops an album, and I'll listen through, like, once. Listening to an album over and over and over again. Right. By now, we know that it's one or two pop hits that stand out there. Maybe we can appreciate the album as a whole. That's true. But, like, there's a standout part about it. And when a big mega pop star just has the ability to produce that many awesome songs in one album, doesn't mean that the album's going to necessarily stick out quite as much as the single at least catches. Right, exactly. Because you're like listening to the in-between ones. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of dig this one, but I also know but it's not that one that he released. It's like the God song.
Yeah. Well, as of late, honestly, like, I don't even pay attention to, like, the bigger artists' new releases. I'm more focusing on, like, our stuff, and like that's what I'm jamming. Is like our projects, beats that I make. So whenever Drake and 21 drop the album, everyone's hyping it up, and I'm just like, I got BeatruS II.
Makes you see who your true friends are.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. They already made their millions of streams, their millions of dollars. Like, help your local artists. You know what I'm saying?
True friends can't listen to Drake, 21 Savage, and us.
Right.
Just to clarify.
You have
go
to
ahead,
choose.
X
It's
amount.
one or the other.
Only us.
One or the other.
There is no other way around.
Stop supporting them. Stop playing.
If I see a Drake album on your playlist, it's over.
I'm coming for you.
I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna pull the car over, and I'm getting out. I'm walking. I don't care if we're going to Dallas. I'm walking.
Whoa now. Dallas is a little lawless night.
Right.
Well, how did 808 Saints start? How long ago? Whose idea? Does it just kind of come to fruition?
Shoot, we've been at it since, like, what, 2018?
We've been at it since 2018.
And we met through a mutual friend.
Marcus.
They had let me know that, I guess Ladi was coming back stateside.
Yeah, because I was out of state for one time.
And they're like, hey, check this guy out. He raps, check him out. And, shoot, I just reached out right away. I saw, like, one video, and I was like, okay, he's pretty dope. I was like, I don't really know anyone. That's because it's like it was when I first, like, actually started to try to, like, make my way into, like, the scene as far as, like, music goes, and I was like, you know what, he seems like a cool dude, so I'm gonna reach out to him, and shoot, we just instantly kind of connected from there. And then we just kind of took off like that.
Yeah. And that's cool finally hearing it from his perspective in it. Because most of the time,
he's always saying that. Yeah, it's always him.
But now I'm just the perspective of the rapper.
Yes.
Not the main producer person. But we connected in 2018 and kind of just like consistency. The ability to continuously keep coming together, keep working on tracks. Even if it's like not great yet, just continuously doing it is the biggest thing. And that's kind of what's come around in my mind to kind of speak more often about is like a key thing in making it out here is being consistent. Yeah, in anything you want to do. Yeah. Right? And in general, like we started small. First thing was like, this is kind of a key thing I do want to highlight is like I didn't want to go about buying beats because I realized that could be like a continuous like money hole. Yeah. And I can see there being like qualms between producers, and I saw that like that can be a way for things to go south between producer and rapper. So I was like, why not build with someone from the jump? So me and him went in on buying the equipment that we were going to use to record ourselves.
Which I still use.
To like justify why we were just going to split all the royalties for the work that we do. So I never buy a beat from him. We just split the royalties and both invest in like leveling up whatever songs we put out. And then just kind of continuously increasing and growing. Right. When we realized that we wanted to get like a nicer finish, bigger sound with like something that like your professional large scale studio can make faster. We found Chico Santiago in Music and Focus.
Shout out Chico.
He's worked with like Paul Wall and Swishahouse and the Yin Yang Twins. Like if he's good enough for Swishahouse and Paul Wall, probably good enough for good old 808
Yeah.
Sants. So.
Great work, though.
Great work.
Awesome dude, too,
Awesome
man.
guy. He always figures out what we're trying to do. You can tell that he's enjoying the crafting. I think he appreciates not having to create it, but being able to take someone else's work and, like, arrange it.
Right.
And that's the thing is, I always wondered why some songs have, like, 12 producer credits or 50 songwriters on it. It's because you need, like, those pieces of that person just does this.
Yes.
And it could be like that guy that you just send. It's like that's the hi-hat specialist.
The hi-hat specialist. I know what you mean, bro. That's hilarious. Though, just
I don't
hearing
need
it.
anything else. I need 2 stems. I need to hear what your kick in this clap sounds like, and then I'm just gonna focus on mixing your hi-hat.
Says it on his LinkedIn.
Because like
hi-hat specialist.
Migos, this is the Migos guy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But those specialists are like what make the like crisp finish that makes a song really re-listenable.
Yeah.
Because like a song is really, you're able to press that repeat button when it's a smooth finish listen.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any kind of flaw in there, it's still like, while it can be a great song, you can look at songs that are flawed and they're still great songs. But it just doesn't catch the eye and the ear quite as immediately and retain as much.
Right. I love the way you put that because you guys are in it. So that's why you need this guy or girl that is outside of it and is like, okay, fix this here, fix this here, do this, pull this over here.
And we're still involved in that process.
For sure.
Right.
But it's like that they have experience too. Like the metric is like he's worked with more successful people. He knows what a finish is like. He can check and make sure that it's competitive even for a Spotify algorithm to like say, yeah, we can reshare that. Because sometimes if it does not sound great, it does not get favored in the algorithm.
Yeah.
But then you find some stuff that's not that great that's still favored in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So
well, there's probably a little money behind that one.
Yeah, right.
But no, like you said, if you've worked with Paul Wall, probably Chameleonaire, Mike Jones, like Swishahouse in general, like you're probably working with UGK as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
on some level.
Yeah.
Right, and they're still kind of like, whenever they come through here, that's like a spot that they at least know to go to.
Yeah.
And he just has like proof of it. And then he's working with kind of Fort Worth's premier rap person, which is Lou Charles.
Okay.
Lou Charles is interesting too, because I knew Lou Charles from like way back before I even left the United States to teach abroad. But he was like in this duo with this other guy, and they were shooting a video at a friend's house.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew about Lou Charles.
Crazy.
And it's crazy. And now he's like got basically the force of the city behind him, and he like does all these shows. He does a lot of releases, and he was working with Chico. I think he still does.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of like how we found out about it. And we just kind of Googled him and found out he was in Fort Worth.
Random.
He's like the most humble person. He's not too crazy. He stresses us out sometimes because we want to get it back on time, but he's like 3 weeks behind or whatever. But that's why I got.
But he's a busy dude, though.
Busy,
you know what I'm saying?
He's busy.
A lot of people go through him, and his work speaks for itself. So we kind of just learn to be patient.
True.
But follow up. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying salesman. Follow up, bro.
But follow up. It's true. Like, and that's another thing is like these songs take time. The more I think about it, the more like I never thought about like people would be like, yeah, we worked on this album for years. I'm like, why did it take years? Like, and it's just like it's not even necessarily the actual progression of the song to finishness, but the people you have to send it to, get it back from. We don't have much of that process. But even still working with somebody else who's giving it the final kick, it makes sense that we really have to schedule that with him in person. If that person's that good, that person needs time. And that alone is just like your first like notion to understand. Don't say, yeah, I'm dropping a song this summer if you don't have that song already like considerably done or completed. I don't say that I'm dropping anything until I have the master.
That's smart.
Right.
Because again, you're just pushing it back for other people.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to this? Like, well, it's out of my hands at this point. So
have the product before you even say you're going to release it. And then when I'm putting it in DistroKid, I'm putting the release date a month out in advance.
Yeah.
Because like that is for it to make sure that it hits all stores in time.
Yep.
And the added bonus that a lot of people don't know about if you're listening to this podcast, this is how you submit to Spotify editorial playlists. You get your Spotify for Artist account set up.
Okay.
And when you have done your DistroKid releases and connected your Spotify account to your DistroKid account, basically. It'll make some link in there with your discography, even if it's just one song. when you have that set up for your Spotify for Artists, your next release, whenever you put it in DistroKid a month out in advance, once Spotify gets it, it shows up in your Spotify for Artists account as upcoming.
Oh.
There's your like music that's released, past releases or whatever, and then there's the upcoming. And if you have access to your Spotify for Artists, that upcoming will show you your song, and that's how you go there and pitch it to Spotify editorial playlist before it ever drops on the market.
Free game.
Damn.
Free game. Ladi's the book of knowledge when it comes to that stuff, so I'm very thankful to have him as a, I guess, partner.
Partners.
Partner's good.
Yeah. Partner, friend, you know what I'm saying?
Just an employee here.
Yeah.
I sweep the floors.
Hey, well.
Sometimes I rap. You know.
But no, he definitely knows what he's doing.
It's a decent
so
life.
pays the bills.
But yeah, doing that for 3 projects and failing through the process sometimes and not realizing that is like how I've learned to do it. And everything that I gain from like every other project feeds the other one, knowledge-wise. Right? So the first thing we did that was kind of different that I'm probably going to try out with my other projects is using a PR company.
Okay.
And like that was kind of a big thing with this album release is, well, the single before it, Breeze, we wanted to, the PR company approached us like what feels like even months ago now. This was before summer. This is before I left for California.
Yeah, it was still hot as hell.
It was like June or so. This is how I know that they were real business is they set up a meeting with you. And it's a real person emailing. You set up a Zoom meeting, it's a real person talking to you. This person has a PowerPoint presentation on what they've done and all that
Case
stuff.
studies and all
Case
that.
studies and yeah. So Liberty Music PR represents artists and basically finds a way to like pitch your music into a larger audience by either press, playlist, or blogs.
Right.
Radio too.
Radio
I guess
too,
radio
yeah.
is playlisting too.
Yeah, playlist not radio, press, playlisting, blogs.
Can I ask real fast on the side, how is radio doing compared to
Streams?
Yeah.
Radio not so great. Like
I thought so. Yeah.
It's songs I feel like that are gonna make it in a big break. Like we've gotten played on local radio,
Right.
KXT.
Yeah. Probably the only one that's gonna.
And then there's KTC.
Oh, for you guys, actually, yeah. There's a lot of.
It's KTC, and that's another
options.
thing I'm looking into is Texas local radio. If you look at it, there's like
I looked at it the other
233
day.
channels,
Yeah.
but I'm willing to bet like 185 of those are Christian / gospel.
What about
Good chunk of them.
country
well,
music?
Like not
Country
just
music?
for,
No,
like,
because I looked at it the other day because I was curious. So, 97.1 The Eagle is now The Freak, which is a talk station, and I was like, okay, is there any other metal alternative, whatever, for that avenue of music? No, was the answer. But I looked it up, and yeah, you're right. There is a lot of Christian. There is a lot of country. There's a lot of Hispanic.
Yes,
and
yes.
then
Those are the
ton
but
of
you also
music,
got to
yeah.
think how many are owned by iHeart or the S one or not S one, but the C one. But anyway, but they're most of those are owned by the big corporations, which is unfortunate.
But
So-
I'm thinking like they just kind of buy those just to have airwaves.
For sure.
Do you think that that's the kind of thing that they might like turn into shit? Like, do you think they're trying to convert some of those stations from being like over time?
Oh,
Because that would be kind of.
well, radio's just such a fickle and now not completely dying, but it is on its deathbed.
Yeah,
but it's,
'cause you have
it's still
internet.
free. So, but that's the weird thing about it. So, I worked in radio for a little bit as an
Okay.
intern, as a station was flipping over to all talk. So, well, sports talk. So, and it was, there's just rotation if you're not. Well, I don't know, because 97.1 The Eagle was still doing really good numbers, and they still flipped it. And they don't look at it as like, okay, we need this kind of station, we need this kind of station, we need this kind of station. They kind of blur it all into one. So as you saw with like The Edge died years ago, when it flipped, it went over to 102.1, and then it just completely died out, and now it's like some weird pop alternative mixy thing.
See, I barely even really tapped into radio.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to like local radio from KXT because I like.
I love KXT. KXT's for if you're a music fan, that's the one station you
It's
need.
great because
Yeah.
they break a lot of new artists that I hadn't heard about. Some that I was actually like, I like this sound.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to have my song played around this sound. So I've pitched a few to them. Liberty Music PR got us some like international radio play.
Very
Some
cool.
play from like even a radio station in Florida. just like any way that they can pitch it.
For sure.
So we did press,
Playlisting
and radio.
Okay.
And we landed what gets us the decent amount of streams on Spotify, at least, was that they pitched us to like larger Spotify playlists.
Now, just to terrestrial radio, or are they also doing satellite radio as well?
Satellite, not to my knowledge,
Gotcha.
not through them.
Okay.
Maybe if the opportunity came, and I suppose that's the kind of thing is like, how well can you pitch a song based off of the contacts that you genuinely actually have that you know you can pitch it to and be successful with versus what will actually break into a larger unknown, like where someone unknown actually heard this song and was like, whoa, this song is so good.
Right.
I need to take it. Like, right. I know that Liberty Music PR probably already has their contacts that they knew guaranteed that they could charge us a fee for this service, that they knew that they would be able to land us on playlists already. It's a different story when someone else is trying to pitch to like really break you into new ears. And I have a feeling even nowadays that's really a money thing.
Sure.
That's like, who are you paying to actually hear this song? The only other genuine way is to blow up on social media.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, any of them.
TikTok, Instagram,
Right.
whatever.
And the main driver now is really TikTok. TikTok is
True.
where you can like blow up your song and people will directly go from TikTok to your like Spotify or whatever. Like that conversion is like, that's the hard part. Like, cause I can show my music to 1,000 people. 1,000 people will probably, like, out of those 1,000, roughly, maybe 500 of them, like, even search it on Spotify.
Huh.
Right? Out of those 500 that search it, maybe, like, 100 of them actually find the correct one and click on it. Out of those 100, maybe 50 people like the song. Maybe, like, 10 of them follow the artist. There's all these metrics that you can gauge it by, like, but it's a law of large numbers. You get 1 million people to do this, then at least it'll triculate to like a few thousand or something of like stable fans,
Actual
so
followers.
right?
That's crazy. I never thought. I mean, so I'm an artist in the sense that I put a podcast out, but I'm not an artist in the sense that I make music as well. So, like, I'm sure the algorithms are roughly the same, but also completely different because music is going to take you 3 to 5 minutes to listen to a song as opposed to a podcast, which is
Podcast is content, is long form content. So you can get, but podcasts can get you paid a different amount based off of length. Like YouTube now apparently even wants 10 minutes or more because they know they can sell more ads in there.
Yes.
If you're putting your YouTube if you're putting your podcast on YouTube for sure, that's like Ad City Central. They want to encourage that now because that's where they can sell more ad space.
Sure.
Right. For us, I'm not sure what the YouTube joint is for musicians. That's why my main default to kind of try and grow my musical platform base is Spotify. Because I know that Spotify is like, people who are on Spotify, while some of them are listening for podcasts and there's probably a more growing base of podcasts, Spotify's strength is just music.
For sure.
And playlists and like radio stuff.
Yeah.
Apple's competitive in that circle as well. So we're trying to also pitch. We didn't get landed on a lot of pitches for Apple, but direct messaging to people.
I did notice that.
Right.
I did notice
They didn't
that.
land us in a lot of Apple. I suppose like Apple feels like
mostly
more
Spotify.
guarded gates. And I don't know how its
Yeah.
system quite shakes.
I'm curious to that too because our podcast. So this podcast is on iTunes or in Apple Music, but my other podcast is not, and I've submitted it multiple times. But I don't know if it's one of those things where after a certain amount, that way they know you're still producing content, as opposed to being like, yeah, hey, we're on iTunes and we do stuff maybe once a month.
It shouldn't matter.
I know. That's what I thought. I don't know. I could just have been doing it wrong, but I don't know.
Gatekeepers, bro.
Yeah.
But funny enough, after this uptick in activity on Spotify, starting to see some more of that on Pandora, which is another metric.
Yeah.
Pandora, I think, is large on radio, on internet radio.
Yeah.
So it puts my music on the same stream as like Drake Radio or even Logic, any larger names. It's more indiscriminate.
I remember you showing
It doesn't discriminate quite as much, but like it can grow in just large numbers off of who shares it, and you can kind of track those a little bit. I'm big on like understanding those numbers and seeing where our music is being listened to and where it's gravitating.
Right.
And I'm starting to understand a couple key things like instrumentals.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a good instrumental. It'll find its way to, you can do a back behind the toss leg, do crossover, flip your song with eyes shut into a Sia playlist, and your instrumental will land on a playlist. Just because lo-fi is a huge thing now.
Sure
Music
is.
that you can listen and study to is a thing now. So
that we're not having to really worry about. Now, you have one of those on the album, which I thought when I was listening to it, especially when the guitar came in, I was like, these are the beats and guitar Lil Wayne wish he could have done. But he didn't because his guitar was not... He's a fine guitar player, but he's not... I imagine you were playing Ladi. Yeah, Ladi's level is completely different. So what was y'all's thought process when you had put an instrumental on there? Because a lot of hip hop groups just don't. Like, it's not, they really want to showcase obviously the like rapping part, but no one's also showcasing the producer that's behind it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the cool thing is like Ladi's a dope guitarist, so we get to showcase his like his bars and rhyme scheme and all that, and his guitar playing. So I think that's just another like
that's another
asset. Yeah,
right.
It makes us.
That makes us
stand out different, and I'm gonna start trying to practice the guitar, man, so we can both be up there.
I think you should keep up the keys. I think it would be dope to have a keys player like doing some live shit as well. Because you already started taking like keys lessons. But if you want to get on the guitar and play some stuff with me, I'm always down. But I figured like I perform with my guitar all the time. Yeah. Why couldn't I do this with rap and guitar? So I was like, there's got to be, and I looked around and no one was really doing that. Yeah. So I was like, this is a cool thing to be able to do. Mm-hmm. And then another part about it is like, I always knew instrumentals like are kind of what I want to do as well. The Style album Volume 1 really started out as an instrumental thing before like the poetry got added to it. I've always, like, even on the Iggy Medji EP, there's one instrumental track on there, Long Run. There's always a space for like people who just want to listen to music and not have to worry about lyrics. And I think like this might not even be I think this is just like, as we understand diversity in people's needs more now mentally, and are more conscious to that. Like, I've had somebody reach out to me who's like, I suppose kind of mentally kind of different, or maybe on the autistic spectrum or some sort of deficiency. They were like, I really appreciate what you did with the taiko drums in this instrumental Exhale that I released, because they just like that kind of sound. Right. So now I know that people can appreciate that. And that there's just like, how often are you thinking about what your average fan is like? Right. That's another thing I think can really, really like help us build that truly, is like, if I think about the average 808 Saints fan, what is that person like? Yeah. And are you accepting to just being like, yup, those are the type of people that like my music. I'm cool with making more music like that for those people. Yeah. And seeing where that fits in, maybe I can make music for more people. You don't want it to be too cornered. Right. The more general it is, the more we realize that we unite and we share space. And
it's really what music and life should be about. Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell us about some of the guest artists that are on this album? Because you guys do pepper them in, and I think they fully add to what was going on.
Yep. We had started 3 of these tracks. We had released 3 of them already earlier in this year, the ones that were going to land up in the album. And Promise is just me and him. Liddy's just me and him. But we'd already gotten Chef on Say So. Yep. Right. And that was earlier in the year. And it was like, we're through some harsh times in there. Me and Chef living together here. He's out in Minnesota for now, but he's still here for now. But we just kind of like, I like Chef D. I've played instrumental guitar behind Chef D, helped perform with him on some sets. Yep. I like his rap style. I think he has a way of captivating a crowd. Yeah. A lot of people in DFW don't have. True. He just has like lyrics that are catchy. He can hit you with it.
And so cooking live doesn't help. And he's got a great voice for it, too.
Right. Yeah. And he really has range when he preaches that. So it's like amazing. We were here, I think, just crafting that song in here. And I kind of wanted to bring it a little deeper and darker, but to kind of still bring some light to it. And I felt like Chef D was a good blend for that.
Yeah, that was my first time working with him, and I was actually really excited for that. I'd been wanting to get on track with him, so...
He does his thing for sure. Comes around Christmas, so this is his season.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Chef December 1 and 2 are out. They're going to be in rotation, you know.
Let's go.
J Love for Ruse, I sent that to him, and he sent it back. I worked with J Love a few months ago with another guy named Josh and another team. And we just kind of worked on some tracks. And J Love is really one of the best lyricists I've heard. Like just pound for pound with anybody else that I've heard. Shout out J Love. That dude is a wizard on words. And he's about the memorizing of it and the performance of it in a specific way. And he won't compromise that. I've seen him do this in the studio and run it back like so many times and just listen. So he's a wordsmith in a true sense. So when I sent him this and I was like, this is my idea, it's real ones only, it's chilling with the ruse, go, and he just like sent the bars back and it was already fire. He sent it in one piece, that was all I needed.
Wow.
Bro.
Chico threw it in there, mixed it nicely, set to go.
Funny story about that beat though. I had been trying to get him to do that beat for the longest time, bruh. The longest time.
And then I stole it from under him and he's like, I want to get it.
No. I was just like, well, I think we had already decided, we're like, yeah, I think we're just going to kind of leave that one alone. But shit, I was persistent with it. I was like, you know what? What if I got a feature on it and I'll get Ladi and then I'll send it back to him and see what he thinks.
Wow. This guy.
And it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pain featuring Justin King.
Yeah.
Pain is probably my favorite from the album.
Okay.
And I knew that when I had one that I really, really felt and it had room for singing and like melodic harmonies on like auto-tune type shit that would just sound sweet, knew I had to get Justin King on it. He won't get on anything unless he likes it. He's very picky. He's very picky.
Well, I mean, if you're a good musician, you should be.
Right.
And if you're obviously a sought-after musician, you also should be.
But I also think like you could make the track fire though.
For sure. Yeah.
But there's limitations in that sometimes I refuse to accept. Like, if the beat is not great, maybe it's just not going to be great.
Right.
Maybe I'm not thinking that my bars can levitate it. Maybe that's the wrong thought process. But, like, I like to think that, like, you can still salvage something. And again,
For sure.
It speaks to that, like, you never know who out there would like it.
Yep.
Despite how terrible you or I think it is.
Right, exactly.
So it's just...
Very true.
So I got him on there. Sorry, let me get through it.
No, you're good.
And then there's one more. So I got him on there. He went into the studio and tracked his vocals with us. That was dope. And then Cypher Pole was like a hard beat that I was like, I know that I don't want to hook on this. I just want us to unleash bars on this. And when I started doing that, Black Mamba was here.
Yep.
Uzo, my bassist.
Shout out Uzo.
Yeah, shout out Uzo, man. He's awesome. He's in the bassist group nameless, plays bass with me in some capacity, learns all this shit side by side with me. And it turns out he's just also a cold-ass wordsmith.
Yeah.
He's a mad bassist and a cold-ass wordsmith. So once I asked him to put his bars on it, and he just started opening it, and I just dove in right after that. He wrote his verse first, so I could kind of see how and he did it. And I think that's everybody. I got everybody, Chef D, J Love,
Yeah,
Justin
Mike
King, Uzo.
Oh, you can't forget our moms. They're technically a feature.
Technically, my mom is a feature.
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you start and end the album with a prayer.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
prayers
Right. The first.
by different people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Joe, please do tell us about that.
Oh yeah, so
prayers.
the first one is just my mom, and you know I'd asked her to just say a prayer on like my upcoming project and stuff like that, and just wishing like just good vibes on that and everything else and stuff like that. So yeah,
That was the exact same thing I asked my mom.
Okay.
Basically, just to bless the album.
yeah.
My mom took like 3 whole minutes. I wanted it to be short. I think she sent an original file and then I lost it.
Oh.
I was clearing out my stories and it was in WhatsApp, so I was just kind of like, I was like, can you send another one? And then she sent another one. But she was supposed to send it as a voice memo. She just sent it in the WhatsApp app, so I couldn't download it.
Oh.
This is that mom disconnect.
Yeah, bro, it is.
I had to teach her how to
Every
get the
time.
voice memo
Oh,
open.
I guarantee that's something she's never even opened before.
I did the
Probably.
same thing, bro. Yeah. That's hilarious. Dude, yeah, I remember explaining, she's like, well, how do I even do it? I was just like, man, you gotta look for this square that looks like this.
It looks like a little red wave.
Yeah.
It's got looks like a
And
sound
I was
wave.
like,
You gotta explain
you-
what a sound wave looks
I
like.
was like, just tell me when you find it first. Then we can go to the next step. You know what I'm saying? Because I
And I
know
was
that was gonna be a mission in
I had to
itself.
teach her how to record a little draft one and make her realize that it's first going to show up as just the address that you're at.
Uh-huh.
So that won't make sense to her. I had to explain that. And then, like,
Bro.
but that's the one. That's the one. And then
And
just,
then-
like, hit how to share with me that it's the box with the arrow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Dude, the
Yeah.
sharing process was difficult.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, like choose the file, right, the one you just recorded, and you'll see the 3 dots at the top, right? She's like,
the 3 dots.
I don't. What? She's like, what 3 dots? I don't see it. I was just like, they're at the. I was like, they're at the top right. I was like, And then you just click those and share. She's like, oh,
it can be so overwhelming, man.
Right, for sure.
You gotta understand, they've grown from the non-existence of the cell phone.
Yeah, bro.
Like my mom was born in like the 60s.
Yeah.
In the U.S., maybe like cell phones were available, but in Nigeria,
no, for sure.
No.
Like when did they become popular in Nigeria?
When I was like 11 or 12. Because I'll never forget this. My mom came to pick us up from school.
Okay.
And it was like another regular day. We're sitting in the like cab back or whatever. And she just like casually brings out the Nokia.
Oh,
the brick Nokia.
Yeah.
And me and my brother are like, oh! Just like, because like we'd heard about it becoming a thing. And of course, we just want to get on there and play Snake.
For sure, yeah. Who's got the longer snake?
Man, I definitely like champed at that. But like, that was the first time I saw a cell phone. So getting our moms to share that stuff, journey.
Yes.
Love them though, for sure.
And that's like, the rest of it is some instrumentals, some new songs popped in there. Yeah.
Which was harder, putting the rest of the album together or getting your moms to not only record, but share?
Oh, man. Equal level of tediousness. Just one is longer.
That's a good answer right there.
Okay.
There you go.
This could be a few minutes with your mom. Going back and forth with the rest of the tracks is that's time. That's time.
Yeah.
That's just time and scheduling and doing it and following up. But
So you guys put another sample at the beginning of Say So. What movie is that? I hear,
at the beginning of Promise.
Promise, sorry. I hear Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And is it he's Bernie Mac.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's Bernie Mac. So the extended, I don't know what it was, but like something about, I was looking for that idea of like a sample.
Gotcha.
Some conversation that's interesting and ear catching. But I was looking at Bernie Mac around the time because I think he had either died when I started writing Promise. Promise, I probably started writing sometime last year.
Wow.
Was that when? No.
No,
He died earlier.
Yeah, 2 or 3
that,
years.
but it might have been like around the same time, like an anniversary or something, or
Gotcha.
a year or two marker. But like that came around in my mind, some Bernie Mac references. I'm not sure why, but like I found Soul Man, and I was like,
Soul Man, that's what
Soul Man.
Gotcha.
Right? It was like, what if I found something cool from this movie? And then I just like kind of have to scroll through quickly on this free version of YouTube, and I get to this moment when he's first trying to convince him to go back on the road with him.
Right.
And that's what that moment is. Is Bernie Mac's like, in the plot line, Bernie Mac's already like successful even though the group's broken together. Mm-hmm. Bernie Mac's still doing shows and touring. Samuel L. Jackson's character is, I suppose, more reclusive about it. So, but there's this chance for them to get back together and it'll be just like the good old days. So Bernie Mac has to come and talk to Samuel L. Jackson about this. And that's the thing, is like Samuel L. Jackson's a hard ass about it. And that humor in there is like kind of consistent with the message and Promise. It's like, everything you promised me, it's not kind of what I thought it would be.
Right.
And it's just kind of like that falling shortedness of it. So something about the energy I felt was important in it. In the single version, I thought just that last clip would be like cool. But then I always knew that in the album version, I wanted that entire conversation in there. So I just kind of threw it in the album version, not the single version.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, Coffee is a great track. So it starts with the prayer, and then Coffee starts is the actual first song. What went into that? Because it's such a great way to start the album. But to me, it's not even like the biggest and best song on the album. I think the further you go in the album, it's like a boiling pot.
Was really that arrangement was key.
Okay, so let's start off with why Coffee, and then kind of explain the journey that everyone's going to take through the rest of the album. Because I have my thoughts as to what each one kind of sounds like to me, but then I'm
interested in hearing that.
Okay, well,
for sure.
All right, well, so Coffee is a great track to open up the album with, because again, it's like your coffee. You're drinking it.
It's like your wake up.
Yes, it's the wake up, and then the rest of your day, which is the rest of the album, is the highs and lows and the shit you're getting done. It's their like later part in the day is better, as opposed to the first part of the day, which for most people is not the best. But yeah,
okay,
yeah, just a weird thought process. I just said.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
Coffee we liked because it definitely popped out. And like I knew that like even though that wasn't going to be the single that Liberty Promo chose to go with, they chose Breeze instead. Yeah, we knew that Coffee was kind of interesting because like he had some good moments and people giving him some feedback about Coffee.
Nice.
So we wanted something that popped out at the beginning. And then I kind of wanted to ease people into the album. After I looked at the arrangement, I wish I had the list, but I don't remember what process went into it. But I wanted to kind of what I had with the 3 songs that had been released already, with the stuff that was going to be new. I knew that prayers at the beginning and end, cool. I wanted to have some level of skits between it, but it ended up being the promises was enough. So I suppose maybe an instrumental was okay, as you like your ear break. But I try to give the listener a little bit of an ear break, some skits in there peppered, and a lot of like just music to listen to. If I'm doing a large body of work. So I think I threw Same Team in there as the third.
Yeah.
Which is kind of mellow and easy to listen to. And then 4 is an instrumental, which is just BeatruS II.
Right.
So that's just even like kind of mellowing you out into your day. And then I think Pain is 5.
Pain is 5.
Which can kind of be like midday, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're struggling to get
Well, no, Pain. I think Pain's great. I was listening to Pain and like not only the lyrics on it, but the beat. I'm a big UFC fan, so I was like, and there was a big fight last night, as the day we're recording this, and so all week they were doing like the little kind of day documentary thing, but they're all like 10 minutes long. And I was like, this would be perfect for like a back montage song, or on top of like that kind of any great montage that has something to do with Pain.
Sync
I think
placement.
would be perfect. Yeah.
Sync placement is like the next thing. Like that's another avenue through which to like target. It's like writing a song that you know you can sell to someone in like a Pain situation in a movie scene or a show or something.
Well, and then also the lyrics, if you really listen to them, they go so many different, like the way you guys are describing Pain was in different ways, which is perfect also. Because like not only the beat could be a highlight, but if they really wanted to focus on those lyrics,
they have that option too.
Yes.
Right, and like that's one of my favorite bars is in there for sure.
Okay,
like that opening line for sure. Like, but Justin came in and killed it, and he did his thing. Sure. I was like, that was dope. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. And then 6 is Cypher Pole.
Yes,
that's like your like supposed get through the day type shit. Fighting.
I think I described it as a better Drake and Future song. Like when they put that album, this sounds like a better. What they were trying to do.
Nice, that kind of like hard trap vibe. Yeah. And then
that's a good one to go for too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
kind of. Way is a cool like car.
That was my. I was like, I get Wiz Khalifa vibes off this, and not just because they're talking about smoking at the beginning, but like just the way the beat sounded, and then also like the way the rap was being laid out. I was
Nice.
like, okay, this is.
Yeah, Christopher Leon. That's the other feature I forgot to mention. He had thrown a hook to this idea because I meant to collaborate with him when he came into Texas, I think sometime later last year or earlier this year. He was a cool guy. I met him in LA a couple times. He's come and visited here. He's done a show. He dropped an album, was dope. I bought some merch, supported him. So I sent it to him. He sent a verse, a hook idea. And that's what I just basically rolled off with after that. So it's just my verse between each 2 hooks. That's kind of like on top of it, maybe on top of it, your day thing.
Yeah, like you're driving home from work. You're like, I'm done.
Could be that.
Fuck the rest of my day. Yeah.
And then, what's the order? What's 8?
8 is Breeze.
Breeze. Oh yeah, that's like your home. Basically, you can kind of dance as your home.
That reminded me of a Pharrell Neptunes.
Oh,
they gave me those
nice.
vibes, and I was like, yes,
nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
Without the falsetto.
Right. That's dope. And that's so Coffee and Breeze are both produced by Lawrence.
Okay.
And they're the only songs that aren't produced by him. This is kind of the first time we've done this for a project, right?
Coffee, we just sent him the
Right, Coffee is actually even a sample from him.
Oh.
So he took Coffee, the sample, and kind of did his own thing with it.
Nice.
That was another part of why the reason, like, getting some songs back from the album and moving in a timely fashion was a little hard. It was a little hard collaborating with him because he's in LA. So we went out there to track Breeze, and luckily we tracked both of the verses for Breeze and gotten that done with him there.
Right.
That's why it was ideal to roll with that because we didn't know what the correspondence was going to be, even if we were able to complete Coffee in time. But there's some like ups and downs to this album creation. It was a bit of a journey.
I mean, that's why we're getting into it. People don't know about it. Yeah. Let's make the song and album better.
Right. But we made that, and so we kind of had to make do with what we had from Breeze as far as mastering it. I kind of had to lay the second half of Coffee. So if you listen closely enough, the first verse in Coffee and the second verse in Coffee don't sound quite mixed the same.
Huh. Okay. I'll have to go back and listen to that.
Chico did his best to match what had been done in the first half, but like that's an interesting kind of little nuance about the album. But even if it's an imperfect body of work, if it sounds good, I encourage you to put it out.
Exactly.
Just like see how far it goes.
That's all it is.
And then 9 is
Promise.
Promise.
Yes.
Okay, so by now we're back to some of the older. So Promise with the skit and the Bernie Mac to give you an ear and maybe some humor break.
Yeah.
And then 10 is Ruse.
Ruse.
That's something fresh, right? Peppered in some old and then back with some fresh. And then 11 is Say So.
Yeah. Sorry, Ruse is.
That's
I was like about to roll around the streets, kind of.
Yeah, that could be rolling on streets at this point. Maybe
Yeah.
You're back home.
Oh, and then Liddy is you're in the
Liddy is like you're at the party.
Yeah.
And then Juma Kids pretty on the way home.
But you're leaving music on that high note of Liddy, which is great. You're leaving them high. Mm-hmm. You're not just being like, all right, this is the end of the album. Let's
It's just like a turn.
Let's land the plane. Yeah.
Right.
No,
but then and then prayers afterwards.
Yeah.
Thinking about this as a whole journey today is kind of a cool perspective.
Yeah.
And Liddy gave me that fun, like early 2000s kind of beat to the track.
Mm-hmm. That one did
Those beats were different back then, bro.
Right,
yeah.
right. That hard like knock and kick
Uh-huh.
stuff. That was like some Chico sounds layered on something that he had started before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was just kind of like a hard hitting beat, and then I threw the guitar solo at the end.
Right.
So it's that because every now and then I had to do that on a track, but not every track, right?
For sure.
Not everyone needs it, but like
you're not showing off on every one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Plus, I still got to level up to show off that much. So.
Now you guys have put the album out. Now you put it out for free, which is great. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like you said, you're really trying to get not only people to listen to it, but people to use it in other avenues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to performing live, how does that work? And how many live shows are you guys now doing for the album?
We did a lot of the live shows. We did 3 live shows around the period of the release of the album.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of the full one. We did one at Caves. We did one at Dr. Jekyll's. We did one at Ruins. And Deep Ellum.
Okay.
Now we're trying to work this one with Justin. But it's a different kind of energy tapping into doing a rap show.
Yeah.
And like the rap circles. Like in Fort Worth, we haven't, I suppose, made quite a dent in there yet. Dallas is a little, I suppose, maybe more guarded. I'm not sure what it is yet.
Dallas, I think, as a city, feels that way.
It is, in a sense. Fort Worth is a
about.
little more sparse. There's room for hip-hop in Fort Worth.
Right.
But it's not the same kind of energy and availability, I guess.
Interesting.
But there's always the underground. If we really want to, I feel like we're artists now who have done this long enough to get paid if we're going to get asked to do a show.
Right.
Right. And we've done that for the last 3 shows. We've gotten paid as long as we do this. It's not the highest, but it's important as a principle.
Right.
I could just slum it and go down there and do the free show at the underground venue where the sound might not work too well and we might not be able to deliver a show the right way. I could. I'm 31. I could still do like I was.
It doesn't mean you can't do it.
It doesn't mean that I can't do it.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
bro.
It doesn't at all. But it's just like part of me is also just like I really want to just kind of get paid to do shows. But honestly, that might be what we have to do on some level, and I'm really down to do that. I already do this for someone at those shows. I'm just also getting paid my rate at those shows. But I'm down to finally do one. We could honestly always do Speakeasy. We could pull up the Speakeasy and try to see your face.
Yeah.
See your face. Exactly. That is exactly why. I don't ask us to do Speakeasy. But not that Speakeasy is bad, but like it's a different energy.
For sure.
You gotta like realize what it is, realize what it could be,
Yeah.
realize you can I really don't want to talk bad on the Speakeasy.
No, it's fine.
It's just a thing that it is what it is.
I've heard stories, and then also I invested a while back, and I still need my money. So it's fine.
Cool.
As long as he's still doing it, it's good.
Yeah, he's moving around. It's changing. I'm hoping that kind of is a metamorphosis into what it could be.
Yeah.
But sometimes these things take time. I feel like,
sure.
And whoever all is involved, if that's not as solidified, it could be something subject to change on heavy. Hang on a second. I'm gonna use the restroom. Talk to Carlos.
So I didn't know that Ladi rapped, and we've heard his musical background. Where does your musical background start?
Shoot. I mean, I was always like trying to learn how to play guitar, and I was in band for like a year in middle school.
Nice.
Nothing too extensive or anything like that, but I've always been drawn to music.
Yeah.
So I've had a big influence through my father and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
What did your father play?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was just a fan of music,
Oh,
bro.
nice.
He just loved playing music, and you know, I guess it caught on to all of like my siblings and I, and I was you know, shown a crap ton of different music, bro. You know, I grew up somewhat in the 90s through like 2000 and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of like Tupac and stuff.
Yeah, Tupac was.
Yeah.
It was just literally the poetry. Like, I mean, that's obviously why a book came out later, but he wasn't just writing stupid rhymes or whatever.
Right,
or like
right.
just bragging about whatever.
He was telling like stories and stuff like
exactly.
that. So, but yeah, I kind of just like dabbled in instruments growing up.
Okay.
And I finally decided to go ahead and try producing. It was like, I think I was like in high school, and I was just like, you know what, this is something that I want to do. Like, I can see myself doing this, you know, as a living, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I think this would be really cool to do. So I just kind of set my mind towards that, and just fucking take a shot at it. A lot of practicing, a lot of learning, and now I'm here.
Nice.
You know, making some pretty cool stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Y'all talk about the live shows?
Nah, he was just asking me about just like my musical like influence.
Yeah, where it started. So, what was the first bit of equipment that you made to make beats?
Just a laptop.
Okay.
And I know that's kind of like, I don't know if it's frowned upon, but
It's modern.
You're still making music.
bro.
Yeah.
But you know, I had to start from like ground zero.
Yeah.
I didn't know like what software to use. I didn't even know like how to do like chords. I didn't know shit.
Did you start with Ableton?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I literally started from I had to teach myself like a little bit of theory, like how to work the actual freaking program and all that. But yeah, I just had a laptop and two M audio monitors. They're like this big.
Wow.
Tiny.
Yeah.
And
then
a cracked version of Ableton.
And then we invested in monitor audio interface for recording vocals and a mic.
Very
Putting
nice.
that together. I remember the first mic we kind of hacked together. Was that blue mic?
Oh yeah, so I had this like I still have the light actually. It's just like those really like tall lights. They're like
This lamp.
It's a lamp.
And we like put a little like kind of like screen holder thing, you know, the thing that you can kind of like hold the pop filter.
Oh yeah.
And we kind of had that attached to like a little blue mic, one of those ball. That was the stand-up mic.
It looked really like
It looked really hacked together. And then we
I
finally
actually
got a better one.
That came up in my memories on my Snapchat the other day. I still have a picture of that.
2018.
Yeah, I said, shit, what was the caption on it? Don't sleep, we working. Bro. It was hilarious.
Don't sleep.
Yeah.
We working.
Yeah. Oh, that's because I
That's
still
real.
had your desk and your computer monitors on there as well.
Yeah.
So like it looked kind of took up like the whole corner
like
of my
an
living
L.
room.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just a big L, just like computer and like instruments and stuff like that.
That's the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking did everything out of the living room.
Yep.
I mean, it all starts somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, till this day, it's still like that. I'm still working in the living room.
I mean, if it works, why not?
Till grandiose levels of push.
Yeah.
Now, the artwork on it is amazing as well. Who did this, and are there like art print stickers available? I saw a sticker outside.
Yes. I don't have one right here
That's
for
cool.
you, but I'm going to get you one.
Well, I appreciate
I'm
that.
going to get you one.
I wasn't asking for one, but I was.
I don't know. I got to get everybody who's coming through to like help
Good.
promote.
No, I love that. Yeah.
Basically, get one for sure. It was made by an artist that goes by Thurston Company.
Okay.
I believe they're from Fort Worth. I believe it's a guy named Connor. But we'd asked him to design an album cover just kind of based on who we were. Our nationalities, the name 808 Saints, and I don't know, our artist names. So that's what's on the pedestal that the skeletons are floating above. Those are our monikers, our artist names. The halo, I suppose, is for the Saints. The green, white, and red, and the green, white, and green shade and hue is the Nigerian flag and the Mexican flag.
Right.
And they're connecting like the two of us, and that's just kind of in this space. I suppose that was the style that they felt at that time.
Okay.
Because anything that they do art-wise, if you look at their style, it's very fine lining and kind of trippy effects.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Colorful.
It's some really cool work.
Thurston Company. You can find their stuff on Instagram. And I'd already kind of hired them. So the Iggy Magic cover, that's them.
Oh, that makes sense now.
I asked them to take all these busts of us and basically put it together, and they kind of made that interesting art style.
Beautiful.
So I asked them to kind of do this for the 808 Saints for the album cover. I knew I wanted it to be the album cover. And they made this in March, like at some point. Didn't know that it was going to be October when we dropped the album.
Right.
So it kind of came around Halloween, which the album looks very Halloweenish.
Without a doubt.
So it kind of matched the timing well. That was kind of a cool unintended thing.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. I love the album cover. And I like that you guys pay that much attention to the album cover, because I think a lot of times some people, they'll grab, the song will grab their ear, and then if they look to their, like for me, so I looked at my display and I would be like, who is this? And then you click on, especially if they have good album work, like it goes hand in hand.
It does.
Yeah.
It's an interesting part about the art that also sells itself.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's people who will just, but then there's also like the aspect of people who just listen to this, turn on the video to not watch it at all just for the audio.
Right, true.
At the same time. So, but it's both. And I think what will help us as we go through this and try to grow is just understanding how most people are listening to our music and respecting that energy and realizing how to like find it in maybe different situations.
Nice.
Diversify a fan base. Know that you have music for people who are just going to throw on the video and leave it alone.
For sure.
Right? Then that's like the importance of also just doing like a live YouTube performance kind of thing. Because someone wants to feel like this is a live performance, not a regular song. And they want the option to see a cool video. Sure. If they're so interested and inclined to. Right. So you want to have something for that person, and you also want to have something for someone who just like wants to throw this on a playlist and go to sleep.
Right.
Hence an instrumental that's mellow, chill, lo-fi-ish.
Makes sense.
All across the board.
Or freestyle.
Right.
Motherfuckers love the freestyle, bro.
Hey, I'll have to do one for that as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, that's why I think about like, we're not just like a rap group. It's like we're artists kind of figuring out how to use different mediums, rap being one of them.
Love that.
Right. I'm more of an artist before I am a rapper. I couldn't really call myself a rapper to someone who that's their craft. Like,
for sure,
they live, eat, and breathe rapping different styles. That's all they want to perfect in their art.
You can hit them up on a Tuesday in a grocery store and they'll give you 8
they
bars.
Got bars.
Yeah.
Like, I might be able to hackney that off of style.
Right.
But that's not even my core. My core at it is drumming and guitaring.
Right.
Because those are the first, like, really cool instruments to me that I put my time and effort towards developing.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were a rapper.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that part came about when I was in Kathmandu, Nepal, going through, I think I told you about this with the Iggy Magic story. Yeah. That whole process made me do a challenge for about 50 days where all I did was find a lo-fi beat that I dug and put a rap cipher over it and put it on Instagram and post it. If you scroll way back on the Ladi the Musician Instagram, you'll see me doing this for about 50 straight days.
Those were the videos I was watching when I first like reached out to him. I was just following like his videos that he was posting and shit like that, and yeah.
So that was like my practice, and that is just training a muscle.
Right, for sure. You're getting the reps in.
Once you do that, and then you find somebody that you're crafting this with, and you just kind of put time and effort towards it all the time, you'll come out with products. You choose to continuously do this and get better at it, you come up with better products. Right. And you just keep elevating yourself from there.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So where do you find the time? Because you... I mean, we talked about it before. You're in probably at least 20, 30 different musical creations all at one time. And so, I mean, I guess I want to hear from both sides because you are a very in-demand man and you will keep yourself very busy. Right. I know how that is. And I understand that time management
is hard.
It's a fluid system at best.
It gets up.
So how do you first find the time? And then also, Sessions, how do you nail down time? Or how do you get on the radar to land with him? So
I just I'm just pretty much available to him, bro. All I do is make beats.
That's what makes this process fairly easy.
Like I'm just at home taking care of my shit, making beats.
Nice.
You know.
Right.
Also, like I just had a kid, so like
congratulations.
Thank you.
Props.
I got a beautiful daughter.
Hey.
So now I have it even more like to be at home working on beats. But like I said, I just make myself available to him because I know he's involved in a lot.
Right.
So I'm pretty much game on anything. Just give me like a 2-day notice type shit.
And like generally, like whenever we've come together, I think to work on songs, we prefer to be in the same space.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'll either come to him or he'll come to me, or we'll meet up in a situation with a mutual friend that we're just sharing the space. So sometimes it just comes naturally in this garage.
For sure.
So we'll just kind of be here and we'll craft something that's at least an idea. And then when we have about 3 rough ideas, then we go to like Chico. So this has become kind of like a creative process. It's like drafts. I'm even able to like record a decent idea here or with him.
Right.
I made Say So here.
Nice.
Yeah, he drafted Say So on his computer. And then we just kind of move on the process from there. For me, finding the time is just, it's another Saturday or another Friday, which are my biggest creative sessions. Every other day, I'm actually tutoring or practicing for a show, right? And the same as with Sunday, it's heavy on tutoring and trying to relax day. Or even it could be a gig. Fridays and Saturdays, if it's not a gig, it's generally a creative session.
Right.
And that creative session can be like writing something with him, writing something with Gimeji or Group Nameless at the time, but whatever it is. And I generally have ideas for songs that we can't even start on when I'm working on the session with him.
Right.
Because there's always like more than one. So like the other day, some big ideas just hit my brain and I just had to write like at least like 5 lines of just some content, and I'm like, I know I won't finish this right now, but that's an idea. Put that in the notes. That way, if we ever come back around and there's a beat that matches the song, that's another one.
Right.
You just have to kind of be consistent in doing it over time. I'm writing raps at least like once a week or something. If not, just in my mind in concept, continuation of something old that I've already done that I haven't finished.
Right.
And then when it's time for it to like crystallize, it can crystallize in the studio session fairly quickly. Drafting, and that's, if anything, there's a flaw in how I feel like I can do all of the vocals I really need to in the first studio session with like great recording.
Right.
It's doable, but there's something to be said about sitting with lyrics for months.
Right.
That like, it's not even just a matter of memorizing it. Like memorizing it so that you can regurgitate it in front of a mic is one thing. Memorizing it and internalizing it so that when you spit it on the mic, it's got an emotion that you're evoking, or like
reading.
The levels that makes you take. That's another like aspect. And I think maybe you can do that in a critically short period in the span of a studio session. But I like to think that actually I need some space between when I draft it and when I come back and do a final draft of the song. Because even like a good song, again, it goes back to that replayability.
Yeah.
The right yelled out Migos backtrack vocal. Mama!
Yeah.
Just that one line is like, oh, it hits that person in that one spot just that one time.
Yeah.
And
And
that's what
sometimes
makes
you may not even notice it.
right.
Yeah.
But they know that when that part's coming around, they know how to say that backtrack right there. And it's the timing, and that's the perfection in the art that we're now next on to, I think, like, is due. Because right now we've just kind of been in draft, elevate, and push mode. Right. Now drafting and then elevating slowly with intention.
Okay.
Which is why we've talked about this, but we're probably going to start shifting to doing EPs more.
Okay.
Like full body albums.
Yeah.
4 songs of like heavily targeted, drafted, time spaced energy put forth.
Yeah.
And then drafted and like released maybe over the course 3 times a year, or just once or twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Make people want it, and then also, unfortunately, most people's attention span is not as long as an album.
Right.
So an EP makes more sense. And each one can be different. So it shows your versatility as well. And evolution.
That was the other aspect about it, is to like short theme.
Yes.
Different theme, different style.
Yes.
Drastic shift. Kind of style to explore. Because like, and you need to try this out in swaths before you can really know how your music is hitting people.
Right.
So that's another thing I want to like encourage to whoever gets to listen to this, is like, put stuff out, and that part about seeing the feedback is important. And understanding that it's that you need large numbers sometimes to just get like large results and even hear to put together a better picture.
Right.
You need to put stuff out. So like, it's great to have a bunch of stuff unreleased, but also put it out. You know?
True.
Just put it out. If it's not that great, come back to that song and do a remix. Put that out. You know? Like, no one's like, it doesn't like, I realize this. Thundercat put them changes in like 3 albums before it blew up. That song, them changes that blew up, like it has a remix with Childish Gambino on it. Like did that for him like last year or 2. It's been in several projects before. He's just been putting it in the same album. Didn't blow up. Put it in another album. Didn't blow up.
So he knew.
He knew that song must have been like that good, or at least like it's a great one. And why not?
Right.
Yeah. The metric's still gonna count the same. It's gonna add towards the streams, and then when it finally gets to like resolution that it's due or the love that it needs, it's like then it's there. Boom. It was always supposed to be there. Yeah. It just took time to catch up.
Now you kind of mentioned what your favorite song on the album is, but could you tell us again what your favorite song is, and then
Pain featuring Justin King.
There you go.
Because it's awesome. It's hymnal a little bit with the hook, with just like the hums, and it's just about feeling your emotions and about feeling pain. Yeah. I don't know what I was going through particularly at that time, but I imagine dose of pain was to blame for that. But yeah, it's just another part of crafting emotion into like sound. So that's my favorite.
Session.
Mine, shoot. I'm kind of like stuck between Promise and Coffee.
Okay.
I just really like those beats. They sound like, you know, they came out sounding really good as far as like the end product. But if I had to pick one, probably Coffee.
Okay.
Coffee's dope, man. It's just like a great vibe. Like I played it at a party last night. And some dude came up to me, he's like, I Shazam this, bro. I was like, I was like, let's go. He's like,
this changed my life.
Yeah, he's like, this, he's like, is this you? I was like, yes, me and the homie, you know, we just dropped this album, like, not even like a few weeks ago, right? A couple, maybe.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks and 2 days.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, bro. He's like, I heard this. I had to Shazam it. I was like, this is hard. I was like, hell yeah. Maybe I was off like in 3 shots or 4 shots, whatever, and you know, I was just vibing. I was like, hell yeah, bro, I appreciate that. It made me feel good.
That's good stuff.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah. So if people want to find y'all online, listen to the new album, follow your adventures, keep listening to y'all, how can they do everything?
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at 808_Saints, SAINTS. And you can find us on any one of your listening platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We got Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Tidal, Pandora. Anywhere that you listen to music, you can find us. 808 Saints.
Boom. I highly recommend this album. I love it. And again, like I said, I listened to it at least 6 times. And nobody listens to it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. So please keep it up. And I look forward to what the EPs are going to bring in the future. And then hopefully a live show. So, yeah.
Yeah, could be that soon.
There we go. Yeah.
お前も俺も目指すものは同じだ。ジライア先生の言っていた平和をなそうとしている。お前も俺も何も変わらない。
I've been riding around sweating hollow points. If you feel me, take a seat and we gon' puff a joint. Get anointed in this gavel till they hear the noise, yeah. 'Cause all we know is hey! To the next stop, tucking all of my squabbles into one blunt for the next drop. Game in the headlock, 808 amazing, never gon' stop. Nah, the effect's real, never exchange it for being famous. Not for the bros, 'cause bros know black ain't real. Fear that dangerous. White crime, white crime, white crime. Says imminent danger. To my peace for the sake of the blacks is way too dangerous. It's ruthless to know. Truth is, all we know is hey.
I've been that way since my pops left. That was 06, Lord knows that I've been coping with emotions so explosive.
thank you so much to Sessions and Ladi from 808 Saints. Make sure to go out and listen. And BeatruS II is a fantastic album. The way it was laid out, the prayer to begin and end. I hope that you enjoyed not only Pain, which you just heard, but Coffee, the way we kicked the show off, and the way they kicked their album off for the most part. And then just go out and listen to that whole album, front to back to front. It is amazing. So while you're doing that, make sure to go out every Monday to Dr. Jekyll's. That is their trivia night, and that starts at 7 p.m. Every first Tuesday over at Blitz Lounge is karaoke night, and that starts at 11 p.m. Enter for a chance to win $200. And then also every Tuesday is comedy night over at Mavericks Bar and Grill /225 Barbecue. That's starting at 3 p.m. Every Wednesday over at Jambo's Barbecue, catch UTA Jazz Night from 5:30 to 7:30. And also every Wednesday night is Trivia Night over at Division Brewing, and that is from 7 to 9 p.m. Now, while you're doing all that, listening to the new 808 Saints album, make sure to go out and eat local, drink local, and rediscover your city. Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of The Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.